the start of Season 2 here in TUF1. Now we have the pre-season test race here. We have some familiar names and some new names as well. Of course, we have the likes of Toma, Stinner, Eden, Andy, Dreamsy, Julian, Santero, Foxy and Boogeyman returning. We have some reserves in here and new names as well. Josh, who was in TUF2 last season for part of it. And we also have Miltos and Vin, who may be starting another Greek contingency here in TUF, but by the looks of it, Miltos I know is a very, very quick driver. I'm not getting any game audio. There we go. So yeah, just looking at how everyone is. We have 15 people in the lobby. Looks like it is a drying track. I will just check the tyres. Baz is on the inters, is the only one on any sort of wet tyre, and everyone else is on the dry tyre, so that seems like it will be drying very, very quickly. So the first person who will be setting a lap is Andy, who of course had a very good season last season, and I'm expecting big things from him this season. Toma will be now the first person to set a lap time, so as he goes down Vale into Club Corner, we will hop on board with him as he is first person set a lap. It gets very, very uneasy on the exit there of the final corner. It doesn't quite look like it's ready for dry tyres as it is still raining out there, but the fact that they are on dry tyres tells me that it will be drying up very, very shortly. Toma does look like he's struggling just a little bit on traction, but still on the track. He hasn't invalidated yet, so that's a plus in my eyes. As he goes round Woodcote, there's Luffield, sorry, then round Woodcote. See how he takes cops. Will it be a downshift? It will be, and a slight lift from him, but keeps it within the limits here. See Maggots, Beckett's very clean. Chapel curve now. Very clean through Maggots and Beckett's there. Now down the straight. It was purple. Of course, he is the first person setting a lap through Stowe. Very clean through there. Down Vale into Club Corner. You want to be careful with your traction zone there. He does lose it, but he does actually set a lap time there, but he destroys his front wing in the process. So 132.7 to beat. See what Andy does, a 134.2 on the medium. So he loses it right there. Thankfully he avoids the wall. See who is next, as Bazza has actually DNF'd. He's crashed into the wall on the exit of Luffield. Boogeyman puts in a 134.8 on the soft tyres. See who is next to cross the line. Miltos did invalidate, so he is into the pits now. Vin goes third fastest with a 134.5 on the mediums. See what Julian can do now. He has already done a flying lap, but I'm guessing it was invalidated. That's a purple first sector for Julian. Let's stick on board with him through Woodcote and on the lead up to Cops. See, slight lift and a downshift there. The Santero goes 4 fastest on a 134.6. Julian, of course, the reigning champion of TUF1. He's got his work cut out for him this season with the likes of Miltos, Panoscara, who isn't here, ERT Sambra as well, who isn't here, and of course Luca, who isn't here. We can't discount Toma from the discussion as well, as he invalidates again. Julian does. Vin is looking good up in 4th. Let's see if anyone else is on flying laps now. As Vin comes into the pits, Andy is going to be coming in as well. Boogeyman is on a slow lap. Does he actually... I think he may have actually gone second now. But yeah, no one else is on fast laps. I believe Stinner will be first person. The first new person to set a lap. It looks like the track has significantly dried now. So we may see time start to drop into the 20s, and Eden has lost it. Not sure what happened to him. Let's just hop on board with Josh. Oh, that was interesting from Josh there. Very interesting from Josh indeed. But let's see how Stinner takes Cops. A slight downshift and a lift. See how he takes Maggots and Beckett's. The downshift there, then one downshift only there. Potentially could have done another to help the rotation, but he does go purple through sector 2. This may be provisional pole, but we will be expecting the likes of Julian and Miltos to put themselves up there. As I believe Miltos is just coming out of the pits now. So we'll see what Stinner can do on this lap, and it is a 129.3. We are into the 120s. But they, as I said, they should significantly go lower than this now. Josh is the only person who is on a lap. Didn't see his sector times, but I'd imagine it would be into the 20s as Josh really nicely cuts the curb at Vale. Oh, Club, sorry. And it's a 128.871 from Josh 09, so putting himself on provisional pole. But we do also have Dreamsy, who has just started a lap here. So let's see what he can do. See how he takes the loop. Downshifts to first and quickly upshifts to fourth. That is very, very clean through the loop for Dreamsy. Let's see how he takes Brooklands. Very clean. Lovefield, of course, very much a double apex corner. Misses the second apex though, but gets out to the exit curb. Woodcote, of course, the easiest corner on this track. Does have a car ahead of him, and it looks like it will be Josh. But he did invalidate on the entry through Cops, and the next person to be setting a lap time is Waitsy here. So half the session gone and only half the grid has set a lap time. We may see some people try on the mediums, but it looks like everyone's on the softs. Could be an indication of a wet race. Let's see what Waitsy can do. Clips the curb there. Good entry. Let's see how he takes Club corner. doesn't cut it as much as he could, but he keeps the momentum going. Let's see what his time is. He puts himself 1.6 seconds ahead of Josh, so the track condition is improving here. Let's see. Miltos has once again invalidated his lap, so he's struggling to get a lap together. Maybe he's pushing a bit too hard here, but it's unfortunate to see he comes into the pits once again, does Miltos. Next person on a lap who is closest to finishing, maybe Vin. Actually no, it is Dreamsy. Yep, it is Dreamsy, so stick on board with Dreamsy. Goes down to 5th for the extra rotation, up to 6th, up to 7th now. See how he takes Stowe. Of course you want as wide entry as possible so you can really swing the car in. Misses the apex, nearly runs wide, but he keeps it within track limits. See Club and Vale here. Again, didn't really cut the curve as much as he could here, and the lap time is a 1:27.0, puts himself to just over 2.5 tenths faster than Waitsy. So top 3 is currently Dreamsy, Waitsy and Josh Unknown. Vin puts himself in 2nd place, only 0.073 seconds behind. Santero puts himself in P4, just under 800ths behind Waitsy. Boogeyman puts himself nearly 4 tenths behind, or just over 4 tenths behind, as Toma momentarily put himself up into P1, but Julian goes 1.5 tenths quicker and now is on provisional pole. As we get into the dying moments of this session, we only have 5 people who haven't set laps, but Eden and Bazza have DNF'd from the session. Foxy puts himself in 1st now with a 1:26.7, so good lap time from Foxy. Trunders is the only person who's out on track at the moment who hasn't set a lap time, so stay on board with him and see what he can do. Trying to see how long we've got left in the session. 4.5 minutes left. Miltos may be waiting until the last moment as Trunders really understeers going through Luffield, which is unfortunate as he has lost a lot of time. Does downshift, takes a nice chunk of curb there. Maybe could have carried a little bit more speed. Let's see how he does. He does a downshift, very nice. Double downshift there. An early upshift into 6th, into 7th now. He hugs the inside line, drifting out to the outside line. Going to Stowe, misses the apex slightly there, does Trunders, but let's see what he can do through Club and Vale. Now through Club corner as Andy puts himself into P3. Let's see where Trunders can put himself. It's only P10, but it is really in no man's land at the moment, with Josh being 7 tenths behind him and himself being 4 tenths behind Boogeyman. Of course, Andy and Trunders have just done laps, and I believe Josh will be the next person to cross the line to start a lap. He is on the mediums, yes, see. Miltos is on the softs, of course. Miltos is one of the fastest people in the world on this track. He is 12th in the world in time trials, so he's just struggling to get a lap together here. Gonna stay on board with Josh, but he does spin it going through Club corner, which is so unfortunate for him. He was setting up to do a lap, but now that's completely ruined. He does may have enough fuel to go for another lap. We have to make sure that he doesn't get in the way of Miltos. He doesn't. But let's stick on board with Miltos here and see what he can do. He's got a 1:26.746 to beat from Foxy. He takes the loop very, very well. Cut as much of that corner as you can, and let's see what line he takes through Brooklands. Very late apex for him, and he does it well. Let's see the double apex of Luffield here. Very nice. And he keeps it valid for now. He does have Stinner just ahead of him. He moves out of the way. Let's see what he can do for cops. Keeps it completely flat whilst doing a downshift. And he does retire from the session in the pits. He is happy with where he is at with a 1:26.9. Miltos seems to have finally hooked lap together. The only places where he could invalidate now is Stowe and Club. Let's see how he takes Club corner now. Down to 5th. Gets on the accelerator early, and that is very clean from Miltos. Let's see how he takes Club corner now. Let's see how much he cuts it. Cuts it a lot, but that does cause him to understeer a little bit. Let's see what his time is. It's a 1:26.3, nearly 4.5 tenths faster than Foxy. Great lap there from Miltos with 50 seconds left. It only took him one run, and that one run took him to the top of the leaderboard for now. I do believe Stinner will be the next person to set a lap time, unless someone is going towards the end of a lap. Wait, she has... Okay, Santero 1:27.3. See, Boogeyman is just going through sector 2 now. Josh is closely following Stinner from behind. Stinner, very good line there through cops. The sun is starting to come out uncharacteristically. Trunders is the only person to have finished, so everyone else. Wait, see, there's a 1:27.2, only good enough for 8th place. I think Miltos will... Don't think this is a fast lap from Miltos, but we'll have to see. I don't believe it is. It may be. It is! Nearly 2/10 improvement, a 1:26.1 from Miltos. Absolutely flying there. And Stinner puts himself into P8. Josh does not improve enough. You see, Boogeyman puts himself into P8 now. You see the Ferrari of Foxy, if he's done enough to improve. He hasn't, he's actually gone slower, so 1:26.7. Julian Toma's the next person to cross the line. Actually, no, it's Santero. Let's see if he can get inside the top 10. It looks like he may do, and he puts himself P4. Let's see Toma now going through the last corner. Can he improve enough? Into P3 goes Julian. Last person. I believe it's a 1:26.4. Only good enough for 2nd place. And Dreamsy is in the pits. Ooh. It was very, very interesting to see how everyone is. So yeah, running through the grid as it is, we have Miltos in P1 by just over 3 tenths. Julian in P2, the second Greek on the podium. On the top 3 with Vin. Then we have Toma joining him on the second row, then Foxy and Santero. Andy, Dreamsy, Boogeyman and Stinner round out the top 10. Then we have Waitsy, Trunders, Josh, Eden. And the last Eden didn't set a lap time, and then I believe Baza had actually DNF'd as well. So it will be very, very interesting to see how this race plays out. Of course, with, I'd say, the two of the title favourites who are here tonight, starting on the front row right next to each other. Does look a bit gloomy here at Silverstone. Nobody really set lap times on the mediums, so that may be an indication that it will be wet later on in the race. So just anyone who is here in the chat, please leave a comment down below who you think will be winning this pre-season test race. We do have Greek Cypriot Formula 1 in the chat, of course going to be supporting their drivers in Miltos and Vin. Unfortunately Panos couldn't be here with us, but there's 3 drivers from GFO here in TUF1 for this season. I personally think it'll be a very, very close fought battle between Miltos and Julian, and it may be an indication on how this season of TUF1 will go. So just having a look at the tyre situation for everyone. Top 10 all on softs. The next 6 cars all on mediums. It's as simple as that. So yeah, anyone who's in the stream, predictions on who you think will win this race. Just on board with Miltos as he's doing his formation warm-up. We'll have to see how this race goes. So of course Miltos did leave it to his final lap to get onto pole. He did set 2 times on these tyres. So as everyone comes onto the grid, we have a Mercedes in first. Now the McLaren of Julian closely behind. Everyone is on the grid just waiting for these red lights. Come on. So we have 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights, and we are going here at Silverstone. Julian gets a good start, but Miltos gets an even better start going through turn 1 and turn 2. No incidents as of yet. We do have Andy going off track a little bit, doing a little rally racing here, but the front 3 have stayed exactly the same here. As Miltos gets off to a belter, nearly 5 tenths here. He goes really defensive line as there is a train forming behind Vin. Is a very, very close train that. But yeah, no incidents as of yet from anyone. But Thomas getting very close to the back of Foxy. So it's Josh getting close to the back of Andy. It's up on board with Miltos now. Very clean from him, of course. Waitsy is the big winner here, jumping up to 9th position. I believe Andy is the biggest loser here as he has dropped several positions. Yeah, Andy's dropped 4. Actually, the biggest winner is Stinner. He's jumped, I believe, 3 positions here. Eden is the first person to get a time penalty. He is down in 15th. It's not great for him. Miltos, fastest lap on the first lap. There's no shock there as he is the leader. Everyone is still relatively close to the guy in front of him. Let's see what Josh can do. Goes for a look down the inside of Andy. He is on the medium tyres, so we'll be looking to go longer. Side by side, Andy and Josh. Contact between the two. AlphaTauri and Rebel looks to make it 3 wide, but thinks better of it. Trunders actually gets a move done on Andy, and now Andy's dropped a further 2 places in the space of 2 corners, which is unfortunate for him. May have some sort of wing damage, it doesn't look like it, but Bazza's actually getting really close. He's getting very, very close now to the back of Andy. He thinks better of a move going through Maggots and Beckett, so does. Yep, he's just sticking behind as Toma, not sure what's happened there. He does have damage. So he was up in P5, I believe, and now he's at the back of the grid with wing damage, which is unfortunate to see from him. But at the front, Miltos is pushing the pace at 1:29.7. We have 2 people coming into the pits. Toma, who has picked up a 5-second time penalty for speeding. DRS is now enabled, so Miltos, does he have the pace to keep everyone behind him? It is a 7-car train. Make that a 5-car train. DRS. And he stays ahead, of course, down this straight. The DRS, actually, just altogether, the DRS isn't very powerful around here unless you are within, I'd say, 4 or 5 temps at either of them. Let's see how Miltos takes it through cops. The downshift, then it's completely flat in 7th. He gets it done. So Julian is sticking with Miltos, but it seems like he may be struggling a little bit as the gap is now 8 temps. He is using some of his overtake now. Let's see, he's got 78%. Miltos has got a little bit less than Julian, but Vin is worse off in the top 3 with only 60%, with the 2 ahead of him well into 70s and 80s. Julian actually puts in the fastest up there with a 1:29.1 from himself. DRS train is now cut down to the top 5 drivers, consisting of Miltos, Julian, Vin, Foxy and Santero. But saying that, Miltos and Julian are really pushing the pace, and I think they may have actually got out of DRS. Never mind, as Vin did get it on Julian, but he's still outside that threshold for DRS, so really it's only the top 2 now who are close enough. And like I said, these 2 will be fighting for race wins all throughout the season, along with Panos Kara, ERT Samba, and I do believe that that is a DNF from Toma, which is so unfortunate to see. He is one of the top guys in this division, and it's hard to see him crashing out. But Julian is still getting very, very close. He is gaining on Miltos now. He's only within 4.5 temps. And he's really pushing the pace now. 5 temps now is the gap, and I do believe that is a safety car. So with Toma being out and crashing out where he did, it caused the safety car to come out. Of course, we do have the Aston Martin safety car here in Silverstone. Because Miltos very nearly actually crashed into it as he was going round the loop. Bazza, I believe, is coming in for his first stop. Don't think that is a wing change, but he has gone to the hard tyres, I believe. Let's check the tyres situation. Yep, that's who's on hard tyres. Only 2 people have pitted, make it 3 with Toma, but 2 people have pitted who are still in the race, that being Andy and Bazza. So again, the top 8 are on softs and everyone else downwards are either on the mediums or the hard tyre. Will be interesting to see if anyone from the top does pit, as everyone is bunched up apart from Bazza and Andy, so you'll be stricken yourself to 12th, I believe it is, and if you're in the top 4, I'd say those 4 will be fighting for the race win here. We'll just have to see how it plays out. We have good GFO support here. It's Miltos and Julian. Actually, everyone really behind them is pitting in. So Dreamsy is now actually ahead. Everyone on the soft tyre, apart from Dreamsy, has pitted in. So I have to see where everyone comes out. Miltos may have been held up, as now he is behind. It is actually Bazza in the net race lead, because he's the only person to, well, he was himself and Andy were the only 2 people who had made stops. That's right, from wait, so you need to take a screenshot now. Haas are the you'll never see a Haas in P2 and P4 from this point. Maybe in their first season in F1, the first and second season, but not now. But yeah, as I was saying, Bazza and Andy have found themselves in a really good position, being in the net race lead. As Bazza had pit actually before the lap before the safety car came out. Not sure what forced Miltos to. Yeah, I'm not sure what forced Miltos to come out behind Julian, Foxy and Santero. Maybe getting held because he was in the first pit box. Maybe that was it. Maybe they should have had the esports release on, which completely disregards safe release. But we are here. The safety car is coming in this lap, so hop on board with who is starting, who's doing this safety car restart, which is Dreamsy, who is now in TUF2. He is reserving here in this TUF1 preseason test race. He may decide to go soon. Let's see, he goes now. He goes now. Waitsy, himself and Waitsy both go wide on the exit, but Waitsy will be looking to go long. Bazza goes up. He goes side by side with Eden. Can he make it stick? He does, but he's getting swarmed now by everyone behind. Foxy and Julian are going side by side. Andy and Eden make contact. And all of this battling is causing everyone to drop away from Bazza. Julian's looking around the outside of Andy, but Andy drifts wide to cut it off. Julian once again looking to the outside, but he cannot get the move done. Miltos out of nowhere jumps 3 positions and finds himself in P8. He does have Foxy behind him, but Julian is getting very, very close to the back of Andy. Miltos having a little look down the inside as we go through Maggots and Beckett's, and now Chapel. Julian does run a bit wide, but Andy does have the penalty. But Miltos is getting very, very close to the back of Julian, and Bazza is starting to fall away from Trunders. Bazza and Andy are on the hard tyres, as I've mentioned multiple times before, but they will be looking to go long, and Bazza now has a 3-second time penalty, which going wide allows Andy to have a look down the inside. Very good racing there. No contact made, but Julian is looking down the inside as well and gets the move done. Miltos will have to get this move done quickly. Goes wide, there's contact between Julian and Bazza, which sends Bazza round in a spin, as Waitsy now gets a 3-second time penalty, and Miltos just making himself known to Julian, just showing him that he is there. Waitsy does get overtaken by Josh, as he gets overtaken by Trunders as well. Doesn't look like he's got any wing. Actually, he does. Front left end plate has gone from the wing of Waitsy. So it's unfortunate to see from him. He is struggling with downforce now. You can really tell that he is. But he's really, really starting to drop away from the top 3 as it stands. As now Andy looks for a move down the inside, and he gets it done. Julian as well waits, he's moved out of the way so he can let everyone past, and the battle for what would be a net P2 is still going on, with Miltos very, very close behind of Julian, who is also very close behind Andy. Andy does have a 2.5 second gap to the back of Trunders. Do you have 2 people in the pits in Waitsy and Bazza? Let's see. Stick on board with this battle, as Trunders is starting to fall away from Josh, and Dreamsy still hasn't pit from the softs. Yep, only the top 3 haven't pitted now. I believe Josh and Trunders will be going long because they are on the medium tyres, but Dreamsy should be looking to pit within the next 3 laps. We have someone who has crashed out, and I believe that may be Eden. The Aston Martin has crashed out, which is so unfortunate to see. But Trunders is trying to stick within that DRS window. Don't think he has. Actually, he may have. But Julian gets past Andy. They go side by side. Julian has the inside line. Andy has to be careful to leave enough space. And Julian gets past. Miltos dives down the inside. He wants to stick with Julian as much as he can. Dreamsley pits in. And now Julian will be dragging along Miltos to bring them up to the back of Trunders so both of them can overtake him. Miltos and Julian looking like very, very well here, but we do have a spinner. That is Boogeyman, who has spun. He's now in P10. He spun on the entry of the loop. But he does have Dreamsy closing up behind him. Andy gets another 3-second time penalty. Believe he is on 6 seconds now. Yes, he is. So penalty situation. At the moment we have Andy on 6, then Stinner, Waitsy and Bazza all on 3 seconds. Boogeyman looks like he's really... It looks like Boogeyman is really starting to struggle now, as Miltos has the overspeed, goes to the outside line. Julian and Miltos go side by side. Miltos does go wide. Julian goes for a look down the inside, goes a little bit side by side, but Miltos got the move done. And now is in P3. They're really closing up to the back of Trundles despite the battle in between the two. You'd have to think that Miltos will make it look very easy on the overtake on Trundles. Let's see if Julian can capitalise on it and overtake Trundles as well. Miltos gets the superior exit on Trundles. Trundles doesn't defend it at all. It's an easy overtake. Julian is actually stuck behind Trundles now as he's getting in the wake of the car ahead. Trundles carrying a lot more entry speed than Julian. Carrying a lot more entry speed than Trundles going through Lovefield. Trundles not making it easy. Side by side through cops, something that Max and Lewis could not do. Julian just squeezes Trundles a little bit on the entry of Maggots and Beckett's, and it forces him to lose a lot of time as Andy is now very fast approaching to the back of Trundles. He goes down the inside line and still slightly side by side, but Andy gets moved down, and now Trundles is in P5 for Foxy going down the outside. There's contact, and I do believe Trundles now has damage as he's getting overtaken by the second Ferrari. Now both Haas drivers have incurred damage here at Silverstone. The second Haas driver is currently in P. Julian has gone off. I'm not sure what happened to Julian, but he's spun off. He's now down in P9. He said to me before he needs to work on his consistency, and it is showing here. But Miltos is now only 5.5 tenths behind Josh. If he can get close enough, he can go for a move just after Chapel Curve. He is still closing in on him because he is on the medium tyres. Let's see. Yes, the overriding speed does Miltos, and Josh doesn't defend at all. He just takes the inside line. Miltos back up into P1 with his main rival. Now Julian is really slowing down. I think he does have damage. Otherwise he wouldn't let everyone through. Which, if it is the case, is very unfortunate for him. But Trundles does come into the pits. He does have to change his front wing, but just looking back up front, I do believe Josh will get DRS from Miltos, so he will stick in there for a little bit. Julian gets 5-second penalty and he's retired from the session. So now only 12 runners in this race. Of course we started with 15. 3 people have DNF'd. Eden and Toma were both on track, I believe, and Julian has retired in the pits. Josh goes down to 6th gear through cops, as now both Haas drivers are where you kind of expect them to be in the Haas car. in 11th and 12th, and there's a safety car now. There is a safety car, and that's Waitsy who has DNF. And that's going to help out Trunder's Bazza, Dreamsy and Boogie a lot to catch up to the field, but the top 3, top 4 are in the pits, top 5 are in the pits. I think everyone will be coming in, and we may see another set of mediums go on, and we do. But there's a set of softs going on to Vin's car. I had damaged rear wing. That's so unfortunate there, Waitsy. So unfortunate. So we're just over halfway, at the halfway point of this race. We'll have to see what the second half of this race will hold for us. Of course, we have 4 people who have DNF'd from the session. We have Waitsy, Julian, Eden and Toma, who have all not who have all crashed from this race. So unfortunate to see from them, but we still have 11 runners left in the race. Of course, if you did this in a normal F1 car, your engine would be blown up by now. I do expect the safety car to be coming in this lap. But from everyone who is here, just past the halfway point of this race, let's see your predictions on who you think will win. Do have some contenders here who can't win. Of course, you have Foxy and Josh, who are behind Miltos on the softest compounder tyres, but Miltos wants to play it safe. He wants to go to the end on these mediums. Of course, safety car is in this lap. For anyone who is here, please let me know in the comments of this stream who, or in the chat, who do you think will be winning this race? Of course, it may well be Miltos, as he is the only person in the top 5 without penalties, but at the moment he's looking in a very, very solid position. As he goes now, Josh is caught out a lot. He's nearly a second behind Miltos, and he's already broken DRS from him, and that was an excellent restart from Miltos. Josh is giving it everything to try and keep up, and he nearly lost his car there. As Vin picks up a penalty, I believe that is his first penalty. But yeah, Miltos really flew off from that safety car restart. He hasn't the need to use any DRS, but with the nature of Foxy's and Josh's tyres, he should have the overriding speed. As Andy moves up into P4, of course he does have 6 seconds worth of penalties. Stinner, I believe, only have 3 seconds. Bazza does have the most penalties of anyone. There's only 3 people without penalties now. That is Miltos in first, Santero in 7th, and Dreamsy in 9th. Boogeyman picks up his second penalty of the race. He now has 6 seconds. There's only 4 drivers who opted for the medium tyre, being Boogeyman, Vin, Andy and Miltos. There are yellow flags. Sector 3, I'm not sure who that was for, but they are now cleared. That may be Boogeyman. Doesn't look like he's got any damage. Oh, Miltos goes very wide on entry through the loop, and Josh has made up the time, but he doesn't have DRS. Of course, it isn't activated just yet, but he is within DRS range. It will be activated on this next lap, I believe. So 10 laps to go, including this one. ERS is looking heavily in the favour of Miltos. Everyone hovering around the 60-70 mark, and Miltos is just about on 81% left. Miltos will easily get to the end on these mediums, but Josh, Foxy and Stinner will be struggling towards the end of the stint. Stinner gets another 3-second time penalty, so he is now on 6 seconds, joining Andy and Boogeyman. DRS is now enabled, so Josh has to hope that he sticks within DRS range of Miltos here. Let's see. Foxy is definitely closer to Josh than Josh is to Miltos. Foxy actually manages to keep it in 8th gear through Cops. Just a slight lift from him. Takes a little bit too much curb there, but he ultimately keeps the speed up as he is now really closed up to the back of Josh. He is benefiting from the slipstream. He is He's not using ERS at the moment, but Foxy thinks better of a move on Josh. He has the tighter line through Stowe, which enables him to carry more speed through. He looks round the outside, looks for cleaner lines through, and he's right on the back of Josh now, which causes him to lift, and Josh is now, well, he's still ahead. Through that mistake of Josh on the exit of Chapel, he is now 1.8 seconds, nearly 2 seconds. Boogeyman has retired in the pits, so only 10 runners left on the last 8 laps of this test race here in TUF1. 2 seconds is now the gap between Josh and Miltos. Stinner and Vin are looking to be battered in all the way through. That is Dreamsy, who has spun out on the exit of Brooklands. And Vin is now in the top 5. So 2 GFO drivers now in the top 5. The only real close battles on track is Santero on the back of Stinner. As we're just top on board with Santero, he gets a penalty. Josh and Foxy both get past. Well, Foxy gets past Josh now, and Foxy is up into P2. So these 2 soft runners who started off in P2 and P3 have really been showing their pace. A 127.8 for Miltos, and he's really showing his strength here at Silverstone. Yeah, Preaseason, he had wing damage. Fortunately, he had rear wing damage, which is unfortunate for Watesy, but 10 drivers left in this race with 7 laps to go. Miltos is really pushing the pace. Nearly 3 seconds the gap between Miltos and Foxy. Closest battle on track, I believe, is this battle we are on board with now. As Josh does go wide on the exit of Cops, that may be a warning for himself. Just having a look at the places gained, Josh is the biggest gainer. He's gained 10 positions, starting from 13th on the grid. He is getting close to the back of Foxy. He will get to the back of him just as we reach Stowe. Bazza has now DNF'd through Maggots and Beckett, so now only 9 drivers left here. Josh goes in for a pit, and it's a safety car. Very, very good choice here for Josh. He's just pitted in time to get these new fresh softs on. But Miltos, he did choose the medium tyres. He was hoping that there would be no safety car, and lo and behold, there was a safety car. So he's going to be really on the back foot now as he's on a slower tyre. But of course Foxy is on softs. I'm surprised that Vin didn't actually pit, but he is on the medium, so he doesn't really need to. But everyone behind him will be on fresh soft tyres. Yeah, everyone else behind Vin is on fresh soft tyres. So the safety car, I believe, will be coming in, maybe coming in the end of next lap or the end of lap 23, which would leave 4 laps of racing. Comes in at the end of lap 23. So still only 2 drivers have not picked up any penalties at all. Miltos in 1st and Dreamsy in 9th. So the Season 2 of TUF1, actually the whole league of the Ultimate Formula will be starting up soon. We've got obviously this test race tonight and the TUF2 test race on Wednesday, which I believe will be around Silverstone also. So just waiting on Dreamsy to catch up to the back of the group, and he has done now. So safety car should be coming in this up, and if Foxy was paying attention to Miltos's last safety car restart, he should know that Miltos went quite early and created a huge gap between himself and Josh. Of course, Josh is now in P4, but he does have fresh, soft tyres on. With 5 laps of racing left, we'll have to see if Vin can keep the likes of Josh and Andy behind. And I have to say, Miltos and Vin's medium tyres will be in much better condition than Foxy's tyres, even though they have both done 7 laps. Foxy will have a little bit more, he will have a little bit of punch with the tyres, with saving them just a little bit, but Miltos and Vin, being on a more durable tyre, you'd think that they may actually finish P1 and 2 here, bringing home a front row, well, top 2 spots on the podium, sorry, for GFO. They're just going to hop on board with Miltos now. He may be doing what he did before, just slowing it up, waiting for the safety car. On board with Foxy here as he's getting very close to Miltos, and he's gone again. Miltos has caught Foxy napping a little bit. The gap is slowly getting towards 8 tenths, and it is at 8 tenths now, nearly 9 tenths. So Miltos once again showing how you should do safety car restart, and he's completely blitzed it. He's nearly out. He's nearly got out of DRS range. I think he has just about got out of DRS range. He doesn't want to be given a long slipstream for Foxy. Miltos just has a huge amount of overriding pace here, and hopefully Vin can show the same pace and get away from Josh behind and try and get past Foxy. As I believe that was Andy getting a 3-second penalty there. As we get close to the last 3 laps of this race, feels like it's flown by now. But Andy's getting very close to the back of Josh, but doesn't get moved on. Miltos still 127.4. He's still the fastest guy on track, and he's on worn mediums. This season of TUF1 is going to be so good. Andy has a little look down the inside of Josh, but he thinks better of it. There will be no DRS until the end of this lap, so we'll only have 2 laps of DRS. So it really is a sprint for these guys. Miltos could have easily put in for the softs, and he could have easily got into first. He could have realistically got into first place again by the end of the race, but of course when you're in a position that he is, you don't want to take unnecessary risks, and by keeping track position he's just ensuring lap by lap that he gets it done. Josh goes for a very late defensive move on Andy. Andy looks to the inside of Stowe, keeps it very tight on the exit, pushes wide, he gets the move done on Andy. Josh gets close to the back of Andy, he's still right on the gearbox of Andy, but he doesn't have enough to get the move done. DRS is now enabled. Like I said, 2 laps of DRS racing. We have Foxy using up his ERS. Miltos has nearly got double the amount of ERS of Foxy, as Vin is still following behind closely. Well, Foxy does actually have the DRS, so it's going to be closing up to Miltos. He is within DRS range now, but it's fluctuating between 9/10 to just over a second. And once again, Miltos, his overriding pace is pulling him out of the DRS range, but Foxy is really using up his ERS. Miltos doesn't need to. He's on about 65%. Foxy is really using it. He's on 25 now. Vin is on 27. Everyone is on relatively low ERS apart from Miltos, just because he doesn't need to use it. Oh, Foxy does have the DRS, as he was within the threshold at the DRS detection point, which was just before Maggots. Dreamsy gets a move done on Trunders. Andy is getting very close to the back of Vin, but now we are on the last lap. Now Miltos can use his ERS. He's on about 50%. He's nearly got double the amount of Foxy. Everyone else is hovering just around that 10% mark. And Miltos is on 60% here. He can really use it all now. He's really starting to pull away from Foxy, and Foxy just doesn't have an answer for it. The gap is now 1.6, nearly 1.7 seconds away, and he's just dumping all of his ERS. That's nearly 2 seconds the gap now. It's over 2 seconds, so great strategy here from Miltos to save all of his ERS. Well, over half of his ERS for the next lap. He does get a 3-second time penalty, but that will not affect anything, as Josh has actually spun. He's spun off. Oh no, he's spun off. But Vin and Foxy go side by side looking at the penalties. This is a battle for track position. This will be a 1-2 finish, but Miltos, first race here in TUF, he gets the win. Vin finishes in P2. Foxy 1.5 tenths behind Vin. Dreamsy gets a P4 finish. Trunders jumps all the way up to P5. Driver of the day is Trunders with a great finish to the race on a chaotic last few laps after the safety car. It's none other than the 2 Greeks who will be celebrating with the GFO boys. Miltos and Vin get P1 and P2. Looking down the rest of the results, Foxy in P3 rounding off the podium. Then we have Dreamsy in P4, Trunders in P5, Stinner in P6, Andy in P7, Josh in P8, Santero in P9. Now the non-finishers, we have Bazza in P10, Boogeyman P11, Waitsy P12, Julian P13, Eden P14, and Toma is the last driver in P15. So it's very, very exciting race to watch. I hope it was for you guys too. Not sure when the season will be starting. Of course, we do have the reveal stream for the tracks and the driver lineups for both TUF1 and TUF2. But from me, Speakwin, this has been excellent, and I'll see you guys for the reveal stream whenever that is. See you.